The last book in the Old Testament is the book of Malachi. And it was the last one to be written. And it was written approximately 400 BC. And so if you look at that, the last part, the newest part of the Old Testament, written 400 BC, the oldest Hebrew manuscript that we had for a long, long time was the Masoretic text. That's a gap of 1,300 years. That's a pretty big gap. And so you can understand why the critics were having a heyday with that. They were all over that and saying a lot of stuff can happen in 1,300 years. And that's why this isn't reliable. But then something happened. It has been referred to as the archeological discovery of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, 1948, right in that time, a Bedouin shepherd had misplaced a couple of his sheep. This was down about 7 miles south of Jericho, just on the west side of the Dead Sea. He had misplaced a couple of his sheep and he was trying to find them. That's a pretty rugged area you see in the picture on the right, and it's got many caves in that terrain. And the shepherd, he was throwing stones into some of these caves so as not to have to crawl up there himself. And he thought maybe he could spook the sheep and get them to make a sound or come out the entrance, and that way he would know where they were. Well, one of the caves that he threw a stone into, he heard something break, the breaking of pottery. And that is what was contained in about a dozen of these caves. Is there was a bunch of clay jars like the picture on the left on the screen. And as a matter of fact, when the authorities began investigating this further, they ended up finding out that there were some 600 manuscripts. This all was dated at right around 125 BC. And so all of a sudden now what we have is we have a 1,000-year gap that has been bridged just like this. Whereas the oldest